ننتقل بقى إلى صوت نسائي، يعني كلمة الأستاذة ميراي نسيم. ميراي عضو المجلس القومي للأمومة والطفولة وعضو المجلس التنفيذي لمبادرة بثور والمدير التنفيذي لجمعية تكافل. واتفضلي.
أولاً عايزة أشكر جداً دكتورة رشا. Thank you for including me in this very distinguished panel. بشكر معالي الوزير على حضرتك قلته، لأنه اللي حضرتك قلته إحنا تكاتف. أنا جمعية تكاتف للتنمية وأنا رئيس تنفيذي للجمعية، جمعية أهلية بتشتغل في مجال الإديوكيشن على أرض الواقع بقى. فأنا هاخدكم بقى حتة تانية، إنه اللي احنا طالب اللي عايزينه عنده innovation وعنده creativity وعنده skills، لازم نبتدي في early childhood ولازم نبتدي في البرايمري سكول عشان اعده للمرحله دي. واشتغلنا مع الوزير، يمكن حضرتك كنت موجود وقتها، انه we've been trying when we upgrade a school to have a value added، بمعنى نفتح فصول مقفوله اداريه نستعملوها، نجيب المدرسين ونقلل الكثافه من 80 للفصول اللي بنستخدمها دي الى 40 و50. ف I will just shift to the NGO side. Yet the presentations were music to my ear. Dr. Helwan talked about monitoring and evaluation system. Yourself, when you talked about the utilization of the teachers and the allocation. So we are all aligned in what we have seen in the education field. Okay, development of human capital with a special focus on children. Educating children and nurturing their skills at a younger shape, their future capacity to learn innovation and uphold civilized cultural values. Egypt's vision. We're going to concentrate, because we're concentrating on children. Egypt's vision was the access to quality education and with no discrimination. Being an NGO working with the underprivileged and in the areas that are really underprivileged, we are concentrating on the quality, access to quality education with no discrimination and fostering creativity and innovation. Just as an intro, how am I going to foster innovation and creativity at an early stage when the school is not, and the environment is not conducive to that? So I have to work at the infrastructure, I have to work with the teachers, and I have to work to be able to have an environment conducive to the education and based on what we see. Okay, now I have to be very quick. Why did I say it's music to my ear? Because of monitoring and evaluation. When Dr. Hilal mentioned that, we can even brag to say we're the first NGO that has a monitoring and evaluation department since 15 years ago. And without evaluation and without monitoring and learning lessons, we cannot really build on a successful experience. We have a programs and partnership department and an urban development department that works at the level of all the schools that we are upgrading. What's our methodology? We, of course, basing our objectives, we rely with Egypt Vision 2030 and the UN SDGs. Our methodology is comprehensive and sustainable development needs assessment that, of course, through participatory approach, monitoring, evaluation, and measuring impact. We're the first NGO to receive ISO. Why am I saying that? Because sometimes people think that the civil society is not based on real empirical and scientific basis when they work, but this is not true. And of course, it's cross-cutting, but quality education is the main thing, cross-cutting all the other SDGs. I will show you a lot of pictures, and I think a picture is more than 1,000 words. We are upgrading public schools, primary mainly and prep, and we are upgrading and establishing KG sections in the public schools, because as the minister know that the public schools, we really have a deficiency on the KGs. We don't have enough KGs in the public schools, and upgrading community classrooms. It's not schools, it's community classroom, الفصل المجتمعي اللي بيكون جوه مدرسة. And we are upgrading students clinics that are serving the students, because it's a comprehensive approach. Okay, we're showing you the pictures before and after the upgrade. The importance of this picture is that you are using colors that are really studied by environmental and psychological architects. The impact of the colors on the students is very important, and this is showing what we've done before and after. Also, we are, and this excellency mentioning, we are using empty spaces to avail needed activity rooms. As you know, this is an empty space that's not used, and you had to close it off and create what can you hear me? To create all the spaces that we need. If you don't have a value added, we don't start by upgrading any school unless I have to really add a value, which means teacher's room, resource room, all the units that are essential to have a conducive environment for the here, as you can say, availing the room that were not available. The music room, it was very important if we're talking about activities. The resource room, that's important for learning, slow learners and learning difficulties. And the teacher's room was essential because if you want a teacher to work with dignity, you have to give a space where he can really be at ease, and we innovated this pigeonhole so they can really have, okay, this is how we're operating. We're activating the disability code. The disability code is within the standard of the ministry, but we are activating in terms where the restrooms and the ramps and the classrooms, one classroom. Upgrading the public schools also means teachers' capacity building and awareness sessions for the parents and working with the children. Teachers' capacity building is very important. This is the software because the sustainability, if you want to talk about innovation and sustainability, we are working with the teachers, as you can see in the pictures, in an innovative way. They are, it's a teamwork. We are teaching them how to teach in an interactive way, and how to detect early detection for the students that have learning disability or slow learners. So we have a range of teachers' capacity building, and the awareness session for the parents is very important to close the cycle of what we're doing in the school and what we're doing out of. The second pillar that's very important for a child is early childhood. We're committed to establishing or upgrading dedicated kindergarten areas that are separate from the rest of the primary school completely. And we are recognizing, of course, the significance and the impact of this stage on child development. What we're doing, it's green building principles. As you can see, we're creating and we're using woods. And we try to add some greenery and cheaper colors and greenery in open area that impact children. Again, the colors is a philosophy that Takatof works with and based on it, and it's very important. What are the basic skills? And this will really lead to innovation. It's develop the cognitive and motor skills, as you see in the pictures. We're working to develop that, enhance creativity through activities, and readiness for writing and reading. And this will, why is it important? In our opinion, when you've seen and you have made some studies, based on needs assessment, monitoring, and evaluation. This avoid the educational difficulties or prevent it, the child illiteracy that you are trying to work on all the time, and the school dropout. Of course, in addition to women's empowerment and job creation, because most of the teachers in the KGs are women. This is a public school KG that had no KG. I mean, a primary school that had no KG in the depths of Ramadan, and we created from an empty space this KG. What is the innovation when we're working? This is before upgrade, after upgrade in another area, and this is in Baba. And we're giving special attention to the playground and this unit, the green area, the physical environment. This is the same public school actually in terms of Ramadan. One thing that was an innovation from Takatof and that was very important for the psychology of the children is the iron bars. I mean, the ministry, you have to have iron bars for the first floor because of safety. So we had to come up with an idea that is affecting them positively, and was the iron bars with geometrical patterns suitable for the children's psychology. And also, of course, you see that the restrooms are specially designed to the KG section. These are the use of wood in classroom and outdoors areas in KGs because of the importance of the feeling and the connection between them, the children, and between the nature that has been based on studies. And here it's more the furniture that helps in interactive learning because of the way it's put. This is a very interesting, we can brag that we're the first one to introduce in a public school this equipment, and this is very important for the motor skills. As you can see, the climbing, and these are the activities to develop cognitive and motor skills that you are doing. This is for the balance, this is for the climbing. This would, and the awareness session again for the children in the KGs and the teachers and supervisors capacity building. This adds and builds innovation. It starts at this early stage. We concentrate also on community classrooms, الفصول المجتمعية, not the مدارس مجتمعية, but فصول مجتمعية is the same concept. And not a lot of people know about it. Unfortunately, ممتاز بس لا لسه فاضل ممتاز جدا. لا لسه. We focus on community classroom in public schools, and because it's very important because of the dropout. من هنا بيجي التسرب التعليمي, ودول بيكونوا بندخلهم تاني who have dropped out from school into the educational system, and for them this classroom is like the whole school. They're not allowed to use anything else. So we try to have all of that and provide them with special programs. The student activities awareness sessions is very important because we're teaching them handicrafts to work with dignity, with innovation, and like leather work, khayamiya, simple accessory. So they are working anyway. So we have to help them to work with dignity. We cannot prevent the child labor at this stage in the community, but at least they will go and have a real thing to do without being really, keeping their dignity. So these are some of the programs that you're working. Yes, the risk of smoking, the general health and nutrition, positive parenting for the parents because they come from a very modest background, and the general health and personal boundaries because their kids are really exposed to a lot of risks and bullying and sexual harassment. This is the student development program, community classroom in the public schools, and the leather product. Last is the last slide, students clinic. Why? Because it's very important. It is in the plan of the Ministry of Health and is doing that under the Health Authority, Insurance Authority, because it provides analysis lab, more important, provides speech therapy to students with speech problem, IQ test to students to take decisions, where to direct them, provide psychological support to students, and last but not least, dental services that are part of students. Thank you very much. And
thank you so much. You're doing a lot.
Kind of. We're just taking, we're not in academy, but I want to just say one more thing. It was music to my ears as well when Dr. Amal from Beirut said about action research, because all what you're doing is based on that. Thank you.
Thank you so much.